Microsoft offers support to millions of Windows 10 users ahead of end of support on October 14, 2025. It turns out that's not entirely the case. As a result of pressure from European regulators, Microsoft was forced to offer something unprecedented, an additional free year of security updates. This is something that, until now, big corporations have paid huge amounts of money for. And now, for the first time in history, this option is available to you. And it's free. Seems like a perfect solution, but as usual, the devil is in the details. To get this update, you have to meet one key condition, which turns this gift into a very expensive deal.
Yes, it wasn't free at all.
In this video, I'll show you how to get this 1-year extension, but at the same time, I'll reveal the conditions of making a deal with the so-called devil, and more importantly, I'll also show you another, better way out of this situation. This is Pavel, and you're watching the Techmaniac HD channel. Let's get started. In just a moment, I'll show you how to sign up for this year of free updates. It's deceptively simple because that's actually part of the trap itself, but first, let's check if you meet the requirements. This is essential. Click Start, open Settings, go to System and click About at the bottom. There, in the Windows specifications section, it has to be 22H2. If you have an older one, you'll need to update it. When everything matches, we go back to the main settings page and select Updates and Security. As you can see, I have a few pending updates to install, so I click Install Now to force their installation. Only after a moment does a new message appear saying, Register to get extended security updates. Well, I click Register now. Here, a window appears that makes things clear and reveals the essence of the trap. The system informs you that a Microsoft account is required to register, and just to be clear, even if you normally use a local account, at this point Windows has forced you to log into an online account. This isn't optional, it's a strict requirement. Since I'm already logged into my Microsoft account, the next window confirms I qualify for the program at no extra cost. Just click Register and after a moment you'll see the confirmation. My account has been registered in the program until October 13th, 2026. Simple, right? But the trap goes much deeper than just this one-time login. According to the official terms of the program, in order to maintain these so-called free updates, you have to log into this account at least once every 60 days. If you don't do this, Microsoft will cut you off from security patches, so it's not even a one-time fee. It's a constant subscription, where the currency is your regular compliance. Signing up for these updates is very simple, but what's really happening in the moment you give your consent? Let's dive into the terms and conditions now, which nobody actually reads, and see what the real hidden cost of this supposedly free year is. A Microsoft account is more than just a login, it's a digital passport giving Microsoft access to your digital life. By logging in, you consent to continuous synchronization and the collection of a wide range of information, which is detailed in their privacy statement. A document that's dozens of pages long. They call it diagnostic data or telemetry. It sounds harmless, but it's not just error reports. It's a digital X-ray of your computer and all your habits. Many of you don't know that incognito mode is indeed a private mode, but mainly from other people using the same computer. The browser in this mode doesn't save history locally, and locally is the key word here. This mode also doesn't hide your activity from your internet provider, your employer, or from the websites you visit, and best of all, it doesn't stop Microsoft from collecting all that data. Okay, but why do they need all this? Officially, it's to improve their services, but there's also a second, much more important reason. They do this to build your detailed digital profile. It's used to personalize ads, force Bing search on you, and get you hooked on OneDrive Cloud, which many people end up paying for anyway. To be clear, this isn't a conspiracy theory. Microsoft says this directly in their documentation. They will effectively use all this data to build your detailed digital profile. They don't necessarily have to sell it to anyone. It's enough for them to share it with hundreds of their advertising partners so they can make money, of course, at your expense. That's the hidden cost. Your computer becomes just a terminal in Microsoft's global network, no longer truly yours. You lose control over what data leaves your computer and who it goes to.
I guarantee that this data is of the highest quality. You'll be delighted.
I'll take it!
And you know what's the strangest thing about all this? Deep down, we all know about it. After all, this isn't new information. We hear about it from time to time. For example, a few years ago, Microsoft employees were hired to listen to users' private conversations on Skype, supposedly, again, to improve the services. We read about it for a moment, we feel uneasy, and then we shrug our shoulders and move on with our lives. And I know what some of you are thinking right now, so what if they're collecting data? After all, I'm not anyone special. I don't work for the CIA, so I have nothing to hide. That's just not true. This is both the most common and most dangerous privacy myth. In this chapter, we'll address this argument. Consider this data as puzzle pieces. One piece, sure, is totally worthless, but thousands of such pieces, your browsing history combined with your location, the apps you use, create a disturbing puzzle. After being analyzed by advanced algorithms, it reveals a complete picture of your political views, beliefs, health status, financial problems, relationship issues, and even your deepest fears. Even now, systems can draw surprising conclusions from this data. So the problem of privacy isn't about hiding a single secret, but about the power of aggregation. One small secret is nothing special, but combining hundreds of seemingly innocent pieces of information into one terrifyingly accurate profile makes the database about you their user manual for your weaknesses, desires, and how to most effectively influence your decisions. Privacy is control. When you give all your data to a giant corporation, you become defenseless against an invisible yet very real automated system that most of us weren't even aware existed. And think about that. An algorithm analyzing your data might decide that your browsing history indicates risky behavior. You visit a skiing website or one about climbing or diving, and bam! Based on that, without your knowledge, the system of a partner insurance company might raise your premium.
He has an interesting hobby. We'll double his contribution.
Or maybe your online shopping habits are the reason you won't get a mortgage. Getting a new job might also turn out to be impossible because an algorithm could reject your resume based on your digital habits, which don't fit the profile of the ideal employee. I know this may sound like a conspiracy theory to some, but let me share my personal experience. I've spent years working in major corporations across different industries. I worked in pharmaceuticals, in insurance, in pension funds, in banks, all the way to the very top of the information technology industry. Inside Amazon or Microsoft's secure data centers. I'll say this, to outsiders this all probably sounds ridiculous. Let's be honest. But when you're inside these corporations and you see the real financial value of this information, it takes some time to realize that this isn't science fiction at all. It's simply a business model. Imagine this situation. A friend texts that you've owed him money for 2 months. It might seem like nothing, but if a trace like that stays in your digital profile, you might never get a loan for your dream house. For your friend, it might have just been a joke, but for the bank's algorithm, it's a red flag. And it's exactly for access to such red flags that companies pay huge amounts of money. What if you visit a labor law website because something bothers you, or complain about your boss in a private group? For a recruiting algorithm, that's a sign you could be a problematic employee, making another job suddenly out of reach. There are many examples, but recently, car insurance has received increased attention. You visit tuning forums, look for information about sporty driving, or maybe even check out how anti-radar paints work. For you, it's just a curiosity, but for the insurance company's algorithm, it's a sign of increased risk, which of course raises the price. What's worse, in the event of an accident, such information can be used as a pretext to question your credibility and deny you compensation. That means you'll have to cover the damages, which often amount to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of zlotys, out of your own pocket. But that's only half the story, because what's even worse is that you're not just a target for corporations. You're also a target for hackers. Storing more of your data in one large cloud makes it a more attractive target. Imagine if all your Microsoft account data leaked onto the dark web. Microsoft has to follow the law, but on the dark web there are no rules. It's a digital Wild West, full of ruthless scoundrels, and that's not just a theory. It's happening here and now. Data leaks from big companies happen regularly. In 2021, data from 533 million Facebook users leaked, including more than 2.6 million polls. This information was later used for a wave of scams and personalized phishing attacks. Many of you experienced this firsthand after the leak from Morelli.net, when scammers were sending short message service messages almost in real time, asking for an extra payment for your order. Is a Microsoft account secure? It depends. Until recently, you could view all failed logins. However, Microsoft hid this option because seeing hundreds of hacking attempts from all over the world was apparently too stressful for users. This shows how frequently these accounts are attacked, as hackers repeatedly try passwords stolen from other sites, hoping they also work here. Because of what I do, I have to have a Microsoft account myself, but I approach securing it in a completely different way. I gave up the traditional password in favor of a physical security key. That's what I use to log into my Microsoft and many other accounts, though this solution has drawbacks. Biometric keys are also expensive. What's more, it's a good idea to have 2 or even 3 of them, in case one gets lost and another gets damaged. I'll be honest, it can be really annoying, because if you don't have the key with you, there's no way you can log in, but this inconvenience is actually its greatest strength. Because if a hacker from the other side of the world gets your password, or even bypasses two-factor authentication by stealing a cookie file from your browser, which by the way is becoming an increasingly common attack method, without physically inserting the key into the USB port and touching it with your finger, they still won't be able to do anything. And even if I lose such a key without my fingerprint or personal identification number code, it's still useless. But let's assume you've swallowed that bitter pill and consciously agree to such an arrangement. Problem solved? Well, unfortunately, not yet. That whole free year will pass by quickly after all, so let's see what happens when the time runs out. The Extended Security Updates program in this free form is only planned for 1 year. And to see what's in store for us, we just need to look at the model for businesses. There, support costs around 450 zlotys in the second year and nearly 900 in the third, and you can be sure that Microsoft will remind you of itself long before October 13th, 2026. This time it won't be a request anymore, but a brutal triple ultimatum. Either you pay an unknown amount for another year, or you buy new hardware with Windows 11, or you end up with a computer without protection. And what do all these options have in common? Of course, a mandatory Microsoft account. It's a choice that's not really a choice. Not having security updates is like leaving your front door wide open. Understand that for many, exploiting security vulnerabilities is more than a random scam. It's a full profession. Cybercrime companies function like regular businesses. They hire employees, have cafeterias, lunch breaks, vacations, and even bonus systems that reward those who extort the largest amounts from victims. It's hard for us to imagine, but in many countries with weaker laws, it's a daily reality. And if you think you're safe just because most of these centers operate in India, I'm afraid you're mistaken. For years, the language barrier limited their reach to English speakers, but now it's quickly disappearing. Thanks to artificial intelligence translators that can translate speech in real time, the number of scams in Poland is increasing. Let's note that the minimum hourly wage in Poland is now higher than the federal minimum wage in the United States of America. This symbolic moment shows that as Poland's economic position rises, so does the interest of cybercriminals in Poland.
Poland under hacker attack. More than 57,000 reports of hacker attacks.
A foreign country is also attacking us because we are in a hybrid war with Russia. Cyber criminals also do this just to make money.
When your system stops receiving security updates, your computer simply becomes an easier target. And in such a situation, even the best YubiKey keys don't help. They secure service logins, but won't stop an attacker who controls the whole computer via a system vulnerability. You don't think that could ever happen to you? In May 2017, the global ransomware attack WannaCry paralyzed hundreds of thousands of computers worldwide. It exploited a vulnerability in the Windows system, for which Microsoft had previously released a patch. Organizations that ignored this update paid a terrible price. The most striking example is the British National Health Service. Hospitals shut down completely, computers running medical equipment, magnetic resonance imaging scanners, and blood storage refrigerators all failed. Everything was encrypted. More than 19,000 appointments and surgeries were cancelled, and ambulances with patients in life-threatening conditions were redirected to other facilities. All of this happened because of a single uninstalled Windows patch, and that's the scale of the problem. The whole world was talking about the paralysis of hospitals, but no one counted the thousands of ordinary users whose computers were also encrypted, and the only way to unlock them was, of course, to pay the ransom. But that was a story from 2017. Today, the threats are even more insidious. Recently, critical vulnerabilities were fixed in Windows components you may not even know exist. They allowed a hacker from anywhere in the world to take full control of your computer, becoming its administrator. This time, it wasn't about loud file encryption, but about a quiet, invisible takeover. The only defense against this was that small monthly security update. And here we come to an important problem. Many people deliberately turn off updates because experience has taught them that they can do more harm than good. And there's a lot of truth to that. Stories about a major update deleting programs, breaking drivers, or making the system sluggish aren't myths. They're a frustrating reality for many users. By excluding users, they're overreacting and losing valuable elements. You need to understand that Microsoft sends you two completely different types of updates. The first type is feature updates. Feature updates are major annual packages that effectively install a new system version. They're the ones that bring new features and visual changes, but they're also the source of all those stability problems. You're right to worry about these, but there's also another type, quality updates. These small packages reliably appear on the second Tuesday of each month to patch new security vulnerabilities. But if a truly critical vulnerability is discovered that is actively being exploited by hackers, Microsoft doesn't wait. They issue an emergency patch right away outside the usual schedule.
I understand everything.
Think of them as seatbelts in a car. Blocking Windows Update is like refusing to use them, and it's the foundation of protection. You see the ridiculous choice Microsoft is making you face. Either you risk a major update breaking your computer, or you give up fundamental protection. And that brings us back to the beginning, to that supposed gift of a free year of support. This solution is a trap. It sacrifices your privacy, only lasts a year, and then still leaves you stranded. Seems like a no-win situation, right? But as I promised, there's a better way. I'm talking about a specialized edition of Windows that Microsoft creates for absolutely critical applications. This version no longer requires a spying Microsoft account and is satisfied with a local account. There's also no intrusive telemetry here, no ads, and it doesn't get those big feature updates, only free security patches. And that's all the way until the year 2032. This version is also lighter and faster. I'm referring to Windows 10 Enterprise Long-Term Servicing Channel IoT. It's not easy to find this system, and Microsoft makes it harder, but don't worry. That's what my tutorials are for. So if you haven't hit the like button under this video yet, I'm about to give you the ultimate reason to do it. Because as you can see, this video not only showed you how to enable the update here, but most importantly, it taught you what it means to have an account and give up your privacy. It also said a lot about security vulnerabilities and the importance of updates. Now, I want to offer you a better solution to all your problems. It is the installation of this specialized version of Windows. With my guide, this installation is extremely simple. The link will now appear in the top right of your screen, or you can find it in the description and pinned comment below. I cover everything there, including where to download the system, how to install it with a local account, and how to activate it. Windows 10 Home and Pro will lose support in October 2026 and likely no alternatives will be available. A standard user can't even purchase extended support. Companies will pay $122 for the second year, about 436 zlotys. In the third and final year, this amount doubles to up to 892 zlotys. That's a lot of money. That's why switching to the long-term servicing channel IoT version is simply better. Updates until 2032 are actually free, but since this is a different version of the system, to make Windows fully functional, you need to activate it. But what if you watch this video too late? What if, in a panic, you've already clicked register now and connected your computer to your Microsoft account? Does that mean you're out of luck? Absolutely not. I've prepared a quick 3-step rescue plan for you. First, clean up your data in Microsoft's cloud by visiting the official privacy panel. I've included a direct link to it in the essentials for this material, of course, on my website. This is the digital command center for your data. You'll find absolutely everything there. Location history, app activities searches, and even voice data. Delete what you think is right. This is your first step to regaining digital sovereignty. And once you've done that, it's worth stopping further data synchronization, and it's actually quite simple. Go to Settings, then Accounts and Your Information. You'll see an option there titled, Instead, sign in with a local account. The system will guide you through a few steps, after which your computer will be running on the good old local account again, independent from Microsoft's cloud. It's instant relief and helps you regain control of your machine. Step 3, of course, is to install the aforementioned best and, after all, the lightest and supported version of Windows 10 Long-Term Servicing Channel IoT, which is supported until 2032. This way, you'll have a fully functional system with all its benefits, minus the major drawbacks. If you want full control of your computer and long-term peace of mind, this second video is for you. Click on the video you see on the screen now, and I'll see you in a moment.